I'm Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and today I am prompted to speak to you about being quote-unquote ADHD. I wasn't diagnosed with it until I was in college. My parents recognized at an early age to not give me too much sugar. I was born in 77, so it was a time when we started to realize that certain food colorings, like red number 5, yellow number, I don't remember exactly. Anyway, we started to be conscious of what we ate was affecting us, or we remembered that we are what we eat and started to pay attention. But my parents didn't know when I was in elementary school what this quote-unquote label even was, because it wasn't something that became popularized until I was, I guess, starting to be in high school. But anywho, I digress. When I was really little, I got in trouble for talking, which is hilarious that I had to not listen to people telling me to be quiet and be the oracle and channel that I am freely. And my Chiron is in the second house in Taurus, so I had lessons of self-worth that I had to work through. So again, a lot of times we come into lifetimes where we are triggered or in situations that make us work through it and do it differently for ourselves, perhaps. Have a different perspective of the situation, because we're here to learn and grow as souls. My belief system, have your own. But I got in trouble for talking. Like every parent-teacher conference, my mom would come back and she would say they used the V word again, which was verbose. They were politely telling my mom and dad that I was a chatty little Kathy. And at one point, they even put me in a cubicle and to keep me from talking, and I talked to myself because I'm a channel. So I wasn't talking to myself, but I could entertain myself endlessly. I will say, sidebar, I've always had a deep imagination. I was an only child, and my parents worked 60-plus hour weeks, so I was alone a lot, which helped me really develop this side of myself. And your imagination is a sense. That blew my mind when I learned that. And you can't really access your subconscious if you can't be imaginative, or you can't really work with the esoteric if you're stuck in logic mode, because the esoteric is not logical. So anyway, this is a lot to channel quickly before I have to go to work. But in third grade, I even had a teacher, and this is the main point of this message. I had a teacher in third grade who told my parents I was quote-unquote a spaz, and that I would never amount to anything. I luckily have had moments where people have said really terrible things to me, and my response, my Aries is my south node. Again, I'm a Aquarius rising. I have 6 Sagittarius placements in my chart, so I am a fiery little ball of energy that is very lovely and sweet and compassionate. But if you try to step on my toes, it ignites me and empowers me, luckily. So I'm like, oh, hell no. So I had a bit of that, let me prove you wrong, lady. And while I'm not necessarily, by society's perspective, the most successful person, financially speaking, like a lot of you, we're making it work in a time where things are a bit tight. But I'm a single mother, so it's just but I'm proud of myself because I am making it work. And most importantly, it's not about the money. Are you doing something that fulfills you? Are you recognizing what your soul's calling is and meeting it? I am. So I feel like the luckiest person on earth. Like, I am getting to do my dream job. Yes, I'm building a spiritual practice, and I changed careers at, I don't know, 40 something. I shook the people around me at the time and made them very uncomfortable, because I walked away from something very stable and secure to do something for myself that, I was growing depressed in the job I was at. It wasn't enough. I wanted to do more. I didn't know exactly what that was. At one point I was like, I really just want to make tea for people, which is hilarious, because to a certain degree with my garden, I make tea all the time, and certain people come and I get to make them tea. But I was a hairstylist for more years than I like to say out loud, and I was doing what I was wanting to do, but not with intention. People weren't coming to me to do it purposefully. So now I get to meet with people, reach into those wounds and alchemize through them so that you can let go of the blockage, transmute it, and be free of that limited belief system or thinking or a way that you were restricting yourself. And I get to help empower people. Like that, I'm like, woo! I'm not saying that I'm all the way there. It's funny, my current struggle is I don't really like telling people what to do. Hilarious. Here I am in a job where people come to me for psychic insight. I don't want to tell them what to do, though. I want to give you agency. I want you to be free of what's restricting you so that you do it for yourself. That's very important. You gotta meet with people who are doing it for the right reasons. That's my last motherly advice in this quick rant. And then again, if you have a child or have been a child where the school system didn't understand how to work with you, or society just slaps a label on you to just make it easier for them to understand you, but it's not the full picture. Like, okay, yes, let's end it on this. Yes, I have ADHD by certain people's label standards. However, looking at it astrologically, I am a deeply empathetic person, moon in Cancer, and I very much am meant to not sit still, to move with and meet with people, and I perceive things on many different levels. Scientifically, they know that ADHD or ADD people's brains perhaps move faster than other people's. So, I'm processing a lot more information than maybe the person next to me. So that's a lot. It can be overwhelming, being very empathetic. I used to suffer from anxiety and going into crowds or like the post office, because it's so, no offense, post office, but going into places full of people who are angry or miserable, like think about the schools, full of misery. No offense, but it's true. So it's just like, consider, I've said this to many friends and people that have come to me, like, your child isn't broken. The school system's broken, and it's not fitting their needs. So it's good that you're not in it. Anyway, so that's my ramble and rant from spirit. I hope you enjoyed it. So you're not a victim. You're not disabled. You're wired differently. Learn how to work with it with intention and respect of yourself, and then wield your magic with intention that's true to yourself. Best wishes, all the love. I love you guys. I hope that you can alchemize those wounds for yourself and be your best self in this lifetime to enjoy it. See you next time. If you want to work with me, I meet with people online and in person with equal effectiveness. Energy is energy. I do tarot readings, which are really channeled messages from your spirit team, your mind, body, your higher consciousness. Anyway, if you want to meet with me, I do it in lots of ways. or find someone that works for you. Anyway, see you next time.